Alexander the Great, the renowned general of antiquity and son of King Philip II of the Argead dynasty, never once knew the bitterness of defeat on the battlefield. His military career is marked by a series of brilliant victories that expanded the borders of Macedonia to unprecedented expanses, from the shores of Greece to the dusty plains of India and Pakistan. Alexander was not only noted for his strategic genius and mastery of quick, effective attacks, but also managed to preserve his troops with minimal casualties, making his name remain a symbol of the art of war. Divide and conquer. This strategy attributed to the great conqueror continues to inspire leaders around the world. Born in Pella, Macedonia, the warlord Alexander came from the noble Argead family, who, according to legend, were of heroic descent from the great Hercules, hero of many epic sagas. His father, Philip II, ruled Macedonia, and his mother, Olympias, belonged to a distinguished family. The date of Alexander's birth is shrouded in mystery. Historians fluctuate between October and July 356 BC. From a young age, Alexander sensed the greatness of his lineage and strove to be its worthy heir, upholding the glory and traditions of his house. In the family of Alexander the Great, relations were ambiguous, especially because his father, Philip II, led a polygamous life. This led Alexander to have many half-siblings. His only full-blood sibling was his older brother Philip, who unfortunately suffered from mental deficiencies. Alexander's memories of his father were contradictory. He admired his military achievements and the conquests of Greek territories, yet he could not shake off a deep-seated hatred for him, a sentiment instilled in him from childhood by his mother, Olympias, who harbored a strong dislike for her spouse. Immediately after ascending the throne, Alexander the Great vigorously eliminated all those involved in the assassination of his father, Philip II. Having cleansed the court of internal threats, he then resolutely set about suppressing barbarian raids and restoring stability in Greece and Macedonia. During his reign, Alexander not only managed to unite Hellas, but also realized his father's dream, the famous campaign to the Persian lands. The battles with Persia demonstrated his unrivaled military talent, attracting the attention of the world. After the victorious battle at the Granicus River, most of Asia Minor came under Macedonian rule, and Alexander himself cemented his reputation as one of the greatest conquerors in history. Syria, Palestine, Caria, and Phoenicia capitulated to Alexander the Great almost instantly. After this brilliant military campaign, he traveled to Egypt, where he was welcomed as a hero with open arms. As a sign of his triumph, Alexander founded a city on Egyptian soil, which he named after himself, Alexandria. Back in Persia, Alexander subdued the key cities of Persepolis, Susa, and Babylon, turning the latter into the capital of his great empire. When the Persian king Darius was assassinated, Alexander used the moment to strengthen his position by blaming the fall of Persia not on foreign conquerors, but on local traitors. By promoting himself as the avenger of Darius's assassination, he not only consolidated his power, but also skillfully manipulated public opinion, presenting himself as a defender of justice. Rumors of Alexander the Great's greatness spread, making almost the entire world aware of it. Within just 2 years, he had expanded his possessions by conquering Bactria and Sogdiana, lands lying in what is now Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, and Tajikistan. With each new victory, Alexander established cities, naming them after himself in honor of his triumphs. Thus, in the depths of Asia, 2 Alexandrias, one in Arachosia and the other in Escat, emerged, which eventually transformed into the modern cities of Khujand and Kandahar. These cities still bear the traces of the great conqueror, glorifying his name through the centuries. In 326 BC, Alexander the Great ventured into India on his famous campaign, a dream of many conquerors. In a whirlwind of battle, he managed to subdue a number of tribes and conquer territories in modern-day Pakistan. However, as they approached the Indus River, the Macedonian warriors, exhausted by the long campaign, rebelled, refusing to continue the offensive. Faced with such dissent, Alexander, who was so close to complete triumph, had to make the bitter decision to turn back, leaving the conquest of India unfinished. Although Alexander the Great was known for his strictness as a commander-in-chief, his approach to conquest included a unique element of respect for local traditions. Rather than imposing his own customs and culture, he often appointed indigenous viceroys in the conquered territories. This method of governance, invariably generating conflict, seemed wise and just but caused discontent among both Macedonian warriors and the subjugated populations. As a result, rebellions broke out in Alexander's homeland and in these new regions of his vast empire, undermining the stability of his dominions. In 323 BC, Alexander the Great set himself the ambitious goal of conquering the Arabian lands inhabited by Arab tribes. His ambitions were grand. The king dreamed of subjugating the entire Mediterranean. After a brief period of consolidation, Alexander began the construction of a new seaport and initiated extensive reforms of the state fleet, laying the foundations for future naval victories and the expansion of his empire. A week before the planned campaign, Alexander the Great suddenly fell seriously ill. Although many assumed that he was struck by malaria, this hypothesis caused skepticism among researchers, as none of the king's closest associates suffered from similar symptoms. Rumors of more serious ailments, such as cancer, which could have rapidly deteriorated the ruler's health, began to spread among the people. Other hypotheses included liver colic, typhoid fever, and pneumonia. However, many historians are certain that the cause of the great general's death was poisoning organized by his ill-wishers who wanted to halt his conquests. For weeks, the conqueror Alexander the Great was bedridden in his Babylonian residence, unable to stand. In June 323 BC, his condition deteriorated to the point of losing his speech and experiencing extreme fever. After struggling with the illness for a few days, the great ruler and general passed away shortly before his 33rd birthday. His death cast a tragic shadow over the story of his remarkable achievements occurring at the peak of his glory. Alexander the Great left an indelible mark on history, becoming one of the most powerful rulers of antiquity and significantly influencing the cultural, political, and economic development of his time. Even in the age of antiquity, he was elevated to the rank of the greatest conqueror and the wisest ruler of vast lands. In the Middle Ages, numerous epics intertwined with fictional events were woven around his personality. Later, historical treatises were created praising his exploits. In honor of Alexander, a statue of him on his favorite horse was erected in Thessaloniki, immortalizing his image in stone and in the memory of generations. Thank you so much for staying with us until the end of the video. We hope you enjoyed it. If so, don't forget to give us a like, subscribe to our channel, leave a comment, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. Your support is very important to us.